Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. And right before we get started, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. And thank you for all your emails, your support, your feedback. I really appreciate you guys giving me all the feedback so we can actually make the community better, so we can actually make the podcast better, and we can grow and actually help people feel that they're part of a community so they don't feel alone, especially with Spoonies, But like I said, this is for everyone. But let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Today's gonna be a good episode. And somebody asked me this question: is it hard to be in a relationship with a Spoonie? And let me tell you, the answer is yes. It is hard. It can be frustrating. It can be stressful. It can be a lot of things depending on how you feel about it. But one of the best things that I can tell you is that when you work together with your Spoonie and the relationship flourishes, it's actually incredible because you have to work with your Spoonie in such a way, like literally you have to know each other in such a way where there's no ego in between, there's no barriers in between. Like communication is the key of a good relationship with a Spoonie, because here's what happens when you're in a relationship with a Spoonie. Your Spoonie doesn't want to be a burden. They don't want to be a burden. They don't want to feel like a burden. So they do not like to ask for help. Probably you might have seen this already with your Spoonie. If you're in a relationship with a Spoonie, you might see this already, where your Spoonie is like in pain, like bent in the, like literally bent over in pain, like on the floor, and you're like, are you okay? Do you need help? And they will be like, no, I'm okay. And you're like, yeah, but you're screaming. So I know how frustrating it can be. Okay, like this happens a lot with used to happen a lot with my wife and me, and that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I see a lot of relationships that are between a Spoonie and somebody that it's not a Spoonie, and let's call them a non-Spoonie partner, and the non-Spoonie partner gets mad because they can't do certain things. They can't go out, they can't go eat and do this. They can't spend time together because the Spoonie is actually having to rest. And a lot of people don't understand that. We don't. The way that I see it from my perspective is that when I got together with my wife, I knew that she was that she had health issues because she told me about her stroke and all of that. So when she got worse, I couldn't understand it in my mind. I was like, why did this happen? Like, what did she do what did she do to herself? Like I was blaming it on her. But one of the things that I was able to understand later in life, or later in our relationship, that it wasn't her fault. She didn't do this on purpose. It just happened because of other things that were out of her control. And that's one of the things that as a non-Spoonie partner, you have to understand that the illness or the condition that your partner has, that your Spoonie has, could be out of their control. It could be something genetic. It could be an accident that happened to them and it was out of the control. It could be some kind of a reaction to something, like that happens. They could have taken one medicine and then they had like an opposite reaction to it. And so there's so many things, and that's pretty much how I felt with my wife. Like I was like, oh my gosh, she did this, and I was mad, but then I was able to understand it. And one of the things that helped us a lot is going to literally marriage counseling. So if you're with a Spoonie, if you have your Spoonie right now and you guys are not working together, you guys are fighting, you guys are not communicating, one of the things that I recommend, because it helped my marriage or my relationship, is to go to like therapy, like relationship therapy, or marriage counseling, something like that, because it will help you learn how to communicate with your spoonie. Because there's gonna be somebody. This is the way that I see it. There's gonna be somebody like a referee in the middle, literally asking you like how you feel. You say your feelings, and then it's gonna ask the other person like, okay, how you feel about that. And then the person, the therapist, is gonna be like, you know what, you guys need to work on this. This is how I would do it. So it helps. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Nobody needs to know. That's the best part. Nobody needs to know. And when you and the reason why I wanted to start with this is because in order for you to make your relationship better, you need the perfect communication. You need to be open. Like, you need to be literally radically open minded and patient. Patience is key. Because the reason why I say the patience is key is because the spoonie is going to be tired. The spoonie is going to be in pain. So they're going to be slow sometimes. You might want, if you're like me, if you're the non-spoonie partner like me that wants to have everything like done like like just go at it, like you want to get ready, get out of the house, go eat, but your spoonie takes time, then you have to be patient. Even though you might be hungry, but you still have to be patient. You still have to be patient. And the reason why you have to be patient is because if you love that person, you will understand that they're trying their best. They're trying their best, and they're always gonna try their best. And by you pressuring them, by you being mean to them or making them feel bad, you're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem. And that's how I used to be. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I used to be like that with my wife, and that's why when we went to the marriage counseling, it helped us a lot because I was able to communicate better, and I was able to understand a lot of the things of how she was feeling. So, and it also helped me be open-minded with her because now I started understanding how she was feeling, some of the things that have happened to her, and all of these things. And now that I understand it better and I'm open-minded and patient, when we have conversations when we have plans and they have to be canceled because she can't go out, like, I don't get mad anymore. I used to get mad, but now I don't get mad anymore because it's like, okay, you know what, this is out of her control. Like, she cannot say like, hey, I'm gonna be in pain tomorrow, so let's not do anything, but I'm not gonna be in pain in 2 weeks, so let's do something else, you know. So that's one of the things that this is how I see it from my perspective. And like I said, communication is very important because if you don't listen to each other, you guys will not be able to understand each other. Instead of talking over each other, you guys should listen to each other. That's the difference. Don't talk over each other, listen to each other. Give each other a space to talk. And this is something that I'm still working on because I'm the kind of person that I start to listen, but then I want to give my opinion or I want to say something before I forget. But I've been a little bit better about that, where I just stay quiet. Like, I just shut up, and then I keep repeating in my mind or in my head what I wanted to say until my wife is done, because I used to interrupt her a lot, and I still do sometimes. It's just a bad habit that I'm working on, and I know that a lot of people have that bad habit. So let's make sure that we listen to each other, because if we keep interrupting our spoonie, and let me tell you, this is from experience. If we keep interrupting our spoonie, the spoonie is going to feel like, you know what, this person doesn't want to listen to me, so I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk about my feelings. I'm not going to talk about how I'm feeling in regards to my health. I'm not going to ask for help because I might be judged. So we need to listen to each other a lot better. And the most important thing that you need to do when you're in a relationship with a spoonie, it's to put your fucking ego down. Like, get rid of your fucking ego. And I say it like that because that's something that I had to do. I had to put my fucking ego down. I had to understand that my ego was hurting me and my relationship, and pretty much understand that when my wife was talking that about something that I did or something that I need to help her with or something that I didn't do for her, she wasn't attacking me. She was just telling me. So that's one of the things. That's one of the things that happen in a relationship with a Spoonie. Our egos go super high. The reason why the ego and the Spoonie goes up is because, for example, in my situation, I've been doing a lot of research, and I always try to help my wife with the research that I do. So I feel pretty knowledgeable about certain things about her conditions and everything like that. But obviously, she might feel that she knows way more than me because she is the one dealing with it, and she has been dealing with it for like a few years, you know. So when I try to talk to her about something that I found, she might be like, her ego might say like, what does this fool know? Like, he doesn't even know anything about chronic pain. He doesn't know about being depressed. He doesn't know anything about being anxious. He doesn't know anything about this and this and this, you know. So that's her ego, and depending on how she responds, my ego will be like, oh, she doesn't want my help. Then what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing all this research? You know what? Like, fuck it. I'm just gonna let you be. That's how I used to feel. But now I'm like, we have different conversations now. When we have a conversation, we're like, okay, let me tell you about what I found. This is nothing against you. This is nothing against me or anything like that. We're just gonna talk. I'm gonna give you the information. If you want to try it, try it. If you don't want to try it, that's fine. But at one point, we might want to try, depending if whatever we're doing right now, it doesn't work. So your ego is a key factor in a relationship not working, especially with a Spoonie, because as a non-Spoonie partner, you don't really know what's going on in your Spoonie's body, or how she feels, or why she feels the way that why he or she feels the way that they do, you know. Like, we don't know anything about the condition. We don't know how to help, so we're gonna be frustrated by that. So that's why we have to put our egos down and be like, you know what, we need to be literally like, almost like humble, literally almost. We have to humble ourselves to be like, you know what, my Spoonie needs my help. I need to do something about it. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get irritated. I'm just going to learn by watching it. That's what I've been doing with my wife. Like, I anytime that she's having like an episode like of one of her conditions, I ask her like, okay, what's going on? Like, you know, like, I try to get more information instead of saying like, oh, this again, you know, because I know a lot of people will say that. I will say that at one point. I'm pretty sure I did say it at one point. And one thing that actually is going to help you in your relationship, don't try to take all of the burden. No, don't try to be like me and be like, oh, you know what, this is my Spoonie, I'm gonna be taking care of her and nobody needs to help me. So no, if you need help, if you and your Spoonie need help, ask for help. Don't be stubborn. Don't be, like I said, put your ego down. Don't be egotistical about it and say like, I know what's going on with my Spoonie. I'm gonna be able to take care of it. I mean, in the end, we're only human. We can only do so much. And if you try to do everything on your own, you might actually get tired of it. You know, like, it can be tiring to be in a relationship with a Spoonie, but you have to change the way that you look at things. It's not a normal relationship. It's not gonna be a normal relationship because the condition that your Spoonie might have, it might never go away. It could be genetic and there's no way to fix it. It could be something that the damage is irreparable. Like, there's a lot of things that could be happening right now in your Spoonie, and by us not asking for help, we're not gonna be able to help them get better, you know. And then we're gonna get tired. We're gonna be like, oh, I'm doing all of this for you, I never have time. And believe me, I used to have meltdowns like that. So that's why I'm talking about it, because I know a lot of people have this type of meltdowns where you will feel like, oh, I'm doing all of this for you, I don't get appreciated. Like, it's, and that's why you need to talk about it, because if you don't feel appreciated for everything that you're doing, let them know, hey, do you appreciate what I'm doing? Because I don't feel appreciated. And then your Spoonie might be like, I do feel appreciated. And same with your Spoonie. If a Spoonie doesn't feel appreciated, or doesn't feel like the caregiver is doing something or giving them something that they need, talk about it. That's why I talk about the love languages, because if your Spoonie has a different love language than you, then do you know what he or she needs in order for that person to feel love? No. That's something that I had to learn, and I'm still learning, that how to know my wife's love language, so I can help her feel love, because I told her what I needed to feel love, and she's doing great, but I'm not reciprocating. So I need to do the same thing, and I'm going to start doing it. And I'm saying this because I'm calling myself out. So now I'm going to do it. I put it out there, and I'm going to do it. So that's one of the things that you need to understand. Like, the relationship is going to be completely different than any other relationship. So you have to put your ego down. You have to listen. You have to ask for help, and that's okay. You don't have to take the whole burden. And another thing, and this is something that I just figured out the other day. Don't make your Spoonie feel bad about the condition, because, like I mentioned, the Spoonie might be, the condition might be out of their control. They didn't ask for it. They didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna get sick so I can piss this person off, or so this person can take care of me. Don't do that, because if you do that, the Spoonie is gonna feel bad. The Spoonie might get depressed, and then obviously with depression, there's other issues that can actually be contributed to that. And then if for some reason, let's say you really love that Spoonie, you really love your Spoonie, but if for some reason, because of your actions, because of what you do, because of how you say things to your Spoonie feels bad about themselves, and somehow or sometimes they might be like, you know what, I deserve better. They might leave, and they have the right to leave if you're not treating them right. Like, this is one of the things that when my wife got sick, and I think I have mentioned this, I had to ask myself this question, and you might have to ask yourself the same question: is like, can I do this? Can I take care of my wife? I asked myself, like, am I going to be able to take care of my wife and give her the best care possible? The answer in my mind was yes, but I have to become a better person. So if you have to become a better person, you need to put your ego down. You need to work on yourself, so you can actually understand what's going on and not blame the person. Don't blame the Spoonie for something that it could be out of their control. So that's pretty much what we need to do. Because here's the thing, and I saw this literally yesterday when I was preparing to do this episode. We don't do that to babies. When we're little and we're facing an illness, when we're babies and we're facing an illness, everybody's like, oh, you're gonna get better, you're gonna get the kid or the baby is gonna get as much support as possible. But when we're adults and we're a Spoonie, we don't get support. So we need to support each other, especially in a relationship. Because as you see, as I was saying in this particular example, the kids that have cancer, unfortunately, that's horrible to have cancer as a kid. But everybody's like, you can do it. You're a superhero. You're like your superhero. Like, I heard this story the other day where the parents were telling the kid that he was the Hulk. And because the kid was going into chemotherapy or radiation treatment, the parents told him, like, you know what, you can become the Hulk, because the Hulk became the Hulk due to a radioactive experiment that went bad. So it's like you can become the Hulk and you can kill the cancer, and then a few months later the kid was cancer free, but he received the support. When you're an adult and you're a Spoonie, let's say you have fibromyalgia, depression, all of this, whatever chronic disease you might have, you don't get as much support. You get this thing, you get this kind of like this stigma where they say like, oh, you're an adult, shut up and take care of yourself, pretty much. So if you're in a relationship with a Spoonie, your Spoonie doesn't need that from you. They already get that from everywhere else, including family, friends, and people they don't even know, you know. So be very conscious about that. Understand that your Spoonie is facing a lot, not just stigma by you, but by others. So by you adding more to that stigma, you're not helping. And understand this, like it's not going to be easy. It might never get easy, depending on the condition or the illness. It might never be easy, but it might help you grow as a person. It might help you understand more things about you. It might help you see things differently, like learn from your Spoonie. That's what I'm doing with my wife. I'm learning from her a lot, and it's making me a little bit more warm, because I guess I used to be very cold. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys are enjoying the episodes. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you guys. I really love the community. I love your posts. I love your stories. And again, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe so we can make this grow. And also, if you want to share your story, don't forget to send it to me at thecaregiverandspoonie@gmail.com if you want to share it anonymously, or you can post it on Facebook, on our community at the Caregiver and Spoonie community, or at the page, the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. And thank you, and again, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And as always, take care of yourself.